4.5 Equations of Ellipses and Hyperbolas. The objectives that we're going to cover today are we are going to show that two forms of the equation of an ellipse are equivalent. We're going to show that two forms of the equation of a hyperbola are also equivalent. The key ideas for today: the standard form with the center at h, k for an ellipse is the quantity of x minus h squared over m squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared over n squared, and it is always set equal to 1. You will notice with the ellipse there's a plus sign in between the two quantities, and both x and y are both positive values. The hyperbola, x minus h squared over m squared minus y minus k squared over n squared. So the negative sign denotes that it is actually a hyperbola when one of the variables are negative. The x fraction could be negative instead, which means these two would switch places. The general form of these can be written as ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. If a and b are the same sign, then it's an ellipse. If they're opposite, then it's a hyperbola. In the first example, we want to rewrite each of the equations that are in standard form in general form. Remember, general form is when we expand everything out. So if we have the quantity of x minus 2 squared over 1 plus the quantity of y plus 4 squared over 9 is equal to 1, the very first thing that we want to do is we want to clear our fractions. So if I multiply this entire thing by 9 over 1, and I multiply all my tops, 9 times x minus 2 squared plus 9 times y plus 4 squared equals 9. My 9s are going to cancel out right here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to expand out our exponents because we got to follow our order of operations. So x minus 2 times x minus 2 gives us x squared minus 4x plus 4. Don't forget your 9 out in front of that parentheses. Plus, we want to expand out y plus 4 times y plus 4, which gives us y squared plus 8y plus 16 is equal to 9. Distribute your 9x squared minus 36x plus 36 plus y squared plus 8y plus 16, and we're going to subtract our 9 to move it to this other side. 9x squared plus y squared, combined our like terms, minus 36x plus 8y, so we've accounted for all of these. The last things we have left are our constants, so 16 plus 36 is 52, minus 9 gives us a positive 43. In the second example, we have x minus 1 squared over 4 minus y minus 3 squared over 9 equals 1. This is a hyperbola, unlike the first one, which was an ellipse. We want to clear our fractions, so we need to multiply by 4, and then we need to multiply by 9. And we will be left with 9 times the quantity of x minus 1 times x minus 1 minus y minus 4 times y minus 3 times y minus 3 equals 9 times 4 times 1 is 36. Distribute our multiplication, so we get 9 times x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 4 times y squared minus 6y plus 9 equals 36. Distribute your 9 and you get 9x squared minus 18x plus 9. Distribute your negative 4 and you get negative 4y squared plus 24y plus or minus 36 equals 36. Combined our like terms. 9x squared minus 4y squared minus 18x plus 24y, and when we have 9 minus 36 minus 36 minus 63 equals 0. In the next example, we want to rewrite the equation of this ellipse in standard form and identify the center. So we want to make sure and complete the square. So in order to complete the square, we need to group our like terms together. So 9x squared plus 72x plus y squared minus 10y is equal to 133. We need to factor out a 9. So we have x squared plus 8x plus box plus y squared minus 10y plus box is equal to 133. Plus, we factored out a 9, so put that in front of our first box, plus our second box, we didn't factor anything out. We have our 9 times our x quantity squared, plus our y quantity squared, b divided by 2, gives us a positive 4. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 9 gives us a 144 in this box. I cross out my little 9 to make sure that I did in fact multiply. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25. When we combined our like terms on the right hand side, we get, this is a negative 133, we get 36. We then need to divide by our 36 because when we have an ellipse or a hyperbola, it's always set equal to 1. 9 over 36 reduces to 1/4. So we can put a 4 in our denominator plus y minus 5 squared over 36 equals 1. Our center is at HK. Inside is opposite, so we have negative 4, positive 5. The next example says rewrite the equation of the hyperbola in standard form and identify the center. So we have 9x squared minus 54x minus 4y squared plus 40y equals positive 55. When I move this using inverse operations to the other side, we want to factor out a 9. So we have x squared minus 6x plus box, minus factor out a 4, minus 4 times y squared plus 10y plus box equals 55 plus, I make myself a note, 9 times that and negative 4 times our second box. 9 times our x quantity squared, b divided by 2 is negative 3, negative 3 squared is 9, 9 times 9 is 81, 10 divided by 2 is positive 5, 5 squared is 25. 25 times negative 4 is negative 100. When we combine like terms, we get 36. Divide by 36, since every ellipse or hyperbola has to be set equal to 1. Reduces to x minus 3 squared over 4 minus y minus 5 squared over 9 is equal to 1. And we have our standard form of our hyperbola. Our center, insides are opposite, is at positive 3, positive 5. The next example says rewrite this equation of the hyperbola in standard form and identify the center. So we have 4y squared plus 16y minus x squared minus 6x is equal to positive 9 when we move that over. Notice our y and our x is now negative, still is a hyperbola. We want to factor out the 4, so we get y squared plus 4y plus box. We want to factor out the negative 1, so we have x squared plus 6x plus box is equal to 9, plus we have a little 4 times one of our boxes and a negative 1 times one of our boxes. Bring down your coefficients. B divided by 2 is positive 2. 2 squared is 4. Bring down your negative 1. 6 divided by 2 is positive 3. 3 squared is 9. 4 times 4 is 16 in our first box. 9 times negative 1 gives us negative 9 in our second. We combined our like terms. We're left with 16 on the right-hand side. We need to divide everything by 16. So we get our hyperbola set equal to 1. We have y plus 2 squared over 4 minus the quantity of x plus 3 squared over 16 is equal to 1. Remember, when you write your center at HK, the x-coordinate is always associated with h, so we have negative 3. The k-coordinate is always associated with y, we have negative 2. So our center is at negative 3, negative 2.